Hey family, it's Netta at Black Lives Count. I'm back at you with another video. So family, I want to discuss this shutdown. Although it's supposedly coming to an end, this shutdown was unnecessary. And, a lot of the people, the politicians, who wanted to make it a Republican issue, it was a politician issue. It was not one side that decided to just say to hell with the people and their constituents. It was both sides, and we have to get that together. But anyway, the shutdown is going to cause long lasting effects. And it's going to take a while to get things back up and running because, as we know, the economy was already struggling before the shutdown happened. Okay, there were people being laid off, hundreds of thousands of people being laid off. And a lot of those people, many of those people have not found replacement work, have not been able to regain employment. So let's get into it, family. I have a small article from a snippet, but I'm going to do the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances is made for fair use. Okay. So this article is actually from PBS News. And it was published yesterday. The government shutdown will impact an already struggling economy from lost paychecks to canceled flights. The longest federal government shutdown in U.S. history appears to be nearing an end, but not without leaving a mark on an already struggling economy. About 1.25 million federal workers haven't been paid since October 1st. Thousands of flights have been canceled, a trend that is expected to continue this week even as Congress moves forward toward reopening the government. Government contract awards have slowed, and some food aid recipients have seen their benefits interrupted. Most of the lost economic activity will be recovered when the government reopens. They hope so, as federal workers will receive their back pay. We hope that as well, because there was some discussion from the Trump administration that they may not receive back pay. But canceled flights will not be retaken, and missed meals will not be made up. Short-lived shutdowns are usually invisible in the data, but this one will leave a lasting mark. Gregory Dacko, chief economist at accounting giant EY, said, both because of its record length and the growing disruptions to welfare programs and travel. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that a 6-week shutdown reduced growth in this year's fourth quarter by about 1.5 percentage points. That would cut growth by half from the third quarter. The reopening should boost first quarter growth next year by 2.2 percent points. The previous longest government shutdown in 2018 to 2019 lasted about 35 days, but only partially shut the government down because many agencies had already been fully funded. It only nicked the economy by about 0.02% of the GDP. But the current shutdown is adding to the economy's existing challenges, which include sluggish hiring, stubbornly elevated inflation, and the President Donald Trump's tariffs, which have caused uncertainty for many businesses. Still, few economists foresee a recession. And family, to be honest with you, I believe we are in a recession. When you look right now at the, employment, you look at the housing economy, you look at everything dealing with this economy, I believe too that we are in a recession, or we're very headed towards it. There's too many unstableness. Missed paychecks. All told, federal workers will have missed about $16 billion in wages by mid-November. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Okay, first of all, those politicians, if they were not getting paid, would not work 1 hour because they were not getting paid. But because they get paid regardless through the shutdown and through whatever else, they don't care. And it's time for people to really wake up and stop pointing fingers at opposite sides. Point fingers at both sides, because it's a both side issue. Trump had threatened during the shutdown to not provide back pay, but the deal struck in Congress would replace those lost wages once the government reopens. The shutdown has added to the Washington, D.C. area's economic woes, where the unemployment rate was already 6% before the shutdown. Federal workers make up about 5.5% of Maryland's workforce, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center. But they also comprise 2.9% of New Mexico's workers, 2.6% of Oklahoma's, and 3.8% of Alaska's. Then there are the federal contractors that also suffered a grave loss during the shutdown. Flight disruptions. Airlines scrapped more than 2,000 flights by Monday evening after canceling 5,500 since Friday, and orders from the Federal Aviation Administration, which is seeking to reduce the burden on an overworked air traffic controllers who have now missed 2 paychecks. Even before the flight cancellations, tourism economics, an economic consulting firm, estimated that the shutdown would reduce travel spending by $63 million a day, which means a 6-week standoff would cost the travel industry $2.6 billion. This is really ridiculous. So here's another part. SNAP benefits. The shutdown delayed the payment of $8 billion in monthly SNAP food aid to 42 million recipients in November, creating a significant financial disruption for many households that likely reduced spending. Some states had managed to pay full benefits or partial benefits through a court order that was given to the Trump administration. However, they are being told that they may have to pay that back. Can you imagine? Can you imagine them? Anybody that is on SNAP benefits is having a financial hardship already. So now you would want them to pay back any benefits that they received in November because it was out of era. Family, when I tell you, see, I don't care what anybody says, especially for black people. We can continue to vote Democrat. Now, everybody can see how the Democrats caved. Now, what they were holding out for was to do with the medical insurance. Okay. However, what was the reasons? See, you got to look and look at all the whole perspective of everything. You know, the Democrats are untruthful. I want to say something else. I really do. But for YouTube, I'm not going to. But the Democrats are very untruthful. Now, we already know that the Republicans are untruthful, most undoubtedly. But the Democrats, too, are very untruthful. And they are untruthful to their base voters, black people, okay? They didn't do this for their constituents. You know what I'm saying? They did this for on their own benefit. And they want to blame these 8 Democrats that they say caved in for the Republicans, just as they did back when it was, what was their name? Oh my goodness. There were 2 Democrats that, it was a female and a male, that caved before. And I believe that was like in 2018 and 2019, during that other shutdown. I believe that was then too. I can't think of his name. But you guys follow it. You know who I'm talking about. It was a Caucasian man and a Caucasian woman. But they were Manson. I think it was Joe Manson. I can't remember, and I can't remember her name. But they did the same thing. You know what? They're all no good. They are all in the benefit of getting their pockets lined. Period. How does a senator or a congressperson who makes maybe $100 and something thousand a year become, within a year and a half, 2 years, a millionaire? It's because they're taking money out from under the table. That's how they become rich, like that. That's how they become millionaires and billionaires, because companies and other entities are lining their pockets with cash. And so they are doing whatever those entities are telling them to do. And we have to understand that this is a whole political thing. It's nothing to do with just Democrats or just Republicans. It is both. They are both guilty. And I am surprised. I am really surprised at white Americans, especially the MAGA, who sit online all day long because they have no lives and nothing else to do, and Twitter fingers going back and forth, hurling insults at black people. But you sit on your ass while your government works you over, okay, and does whatever they want to you, and you do nothing. You sit idly by and just let the time pass on by. It speaks coward. It screams cowardness. But hey, I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me. It's just very sad. I hope that those workers that were furloughed or didn't get paid and were still going to work, I hope they will be compensated for their time and their effort and everything that they did, because they're good ones. I don't think I would have been able to do it. I am not a government employee, because it is unfair to ask people with children yet to go to work every day and not get one single dime. But as I say in many of my videos, and I'll say it again in this one, America is falling. America is falling. And we can thank Yahuwah for that. All right, family, thanks so much for joining. Please like, share, and comment if you so want. And we can chop it up in the comments. I love seeing your comments. And I love interacting with you guys on that level. All right? All right. Take care, family. Peace, love, and blessings. Peace, family.